Hey YouTube universe, thank you for stopping by here at Comic Rema. Today we have a special episode. This will be a contest entry for the beautiful Miss Lady Soul. She asked some amazing questions, so stay tuned and we'll be ready to answer those questions. And thank you guys so much for still tuning in to this channel. Welcome all new subscribers and everybody else who's been with me from the very beginning and along the way in this year. Thank you so much. I appreciate you very much, and just communicating through the comment section, commenting on the videos, liking the videos, not liking the videos. I appreciate all that from you guys. Hopefully this new year we'll be putting out some new content. Hopefully this Kappa thing will be okay by the end of the year. So this contest is for Miss Lady Soul. Actually, the contest is for us, but this video is for Miss Lady Soul. Her name is Eve. She has an awesome channel. She's in Canada. Should be really cold right now. She shows some amazing albums, and she's really into R&B and soul music. So she asked some amazing questions for us to answer and to submit our entry. So what I'm gonna be doing in this entry, Eve, it's gonna a little bit changing it up a little bit. I'm gonna answer your questions, but I'm also gonna relate those questions into comic. Stuff that I like, stuff that I didn't like, and stuff that I recommend. So hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully that's not goes against your rules. Eve, just such a beautiful name. It's a biblical name. It means life, breathing, living. Such an amazing name. So Eve, you have a beautiful name. So your first question was, show 3 of your favorite rock albums. I'm going to show a little bit more. And let me see how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have about 4 or 5. If you kind of look back to my final introduction video, I showed a lot of my favorite albums in that video. I'm going to show some of those from this video. The first one, of course, is The Dark Side of the Moon. This is one of the best albums, I believe, that the world has contributed to music. These guys got together and produced this album. They really had a goal in mind, and I believe they accomplished it. Just looking back through the years, this album has everything. It has samples, it has experimentation, it has bringing life into rhythm of music with the word, with the song Money, where they use a cash register, and then just the bass just comes in. Amazing track. Songs that kind of relate to you in a way. Life and death themes throughout the whole album. The simple album cover concept. What a spectacular album. So this is my #1 of all time favorite album, and favorite band as well. These guys are just amazing. Everything that they've been able to put out. Very sad. I was very sad when Richard Wright passed away a few years back, and I do enjoy that last album they put out together. It is beautiful, but this album has to be the best album of all time for me. I believe this one, it brings back a lot of memories as well, so I think this is also one of the albums that was a gateway to music for me. So that's #1. #2, I have more modern band from the early 2000s, and this is the Gaslight Anthem. This is one of those albums where every song on that album is spectacular. beautiful and greatly composed. There's a track list back there. The lead singer is Brian Fallon. He's doing a couple of solo things now. Amazing performer. This next band is one of my top 5 favorite bands from all time. I have their whole discography on CD. Slowly trying to finish the vinyl collection, and the band is Thursday. This is their last album they put out together, No Devolution. This is the track list. Amazing album. Every song that they've composed is magical to me. This is, I don't know what to say about this record, because it's just amazing and beautiful, and really goes off with a bang. The last track on here, Stay True, it's just some powerful lyrics for me, where Rick talks about just being true, not being fake, not being somebody else who the world wants you to be, and just being faithful and true. I actually mentioned to my wife that I would like that song to be played in my funeral. I mean, that's how powerful that song is. It's a little morbid, but it's just a beautiful song, and the lyrics are so beautiful. Great band. Every record they put out has been great. I wanted to show their first album, but I'll show it in another time. But this is just such an amazing album. The third one for me would be Interpol, another great band. One of my top 5 bands. I saw them a couple of months ago, I believe in October. They came down to LA and played Morrissey. They opened the show. It was such an interesting show. I thought they were going to start later. They started right on time. This guy's played for almost an hour, but I believe it was like 54 minutes. They played not even a full hour. I was a little ticked off about that, but the other thing that was really bad about the concert is the sound was horrible for the first maybe 20-30 minutes. The mixers were mixing with the sound, mixing with the highs and lows. I mean, even after the first song, Paul Banks was like pointing to the guitar and letting him know about the sound, and they still did not get the sound correctly. And once Morrissey came on, oh my god, it was like black and white, like sun and darkness. It was completely different sound. Anyways, but amazing album. They released this. I had this on CD, and that was on repeat like all the time. Remember listening to this after work. Such an amazing album. Here's the track list. For me, probably the highlights from this are, I mean, the opening track just sets you off. You know, the last songs on here, they just go. This record from start to finish starts with a bang and ends with a bang. The next question. So those are the albums I'm going to show for the first question, and I'm going to change it up a little bit and then show you my 3 favorite comics. So my favorite comics, this is one series that I really enjoyed. It was an interesting story. Well, it even came out in the 70s. Might have been 80s. Might have been 80s. Anyways, the story, I mean, I read it in the 2000s, so the story, kind of reading it from nowadays, it was a little but it is a historical document of for Marvel. It is I mean, it's a kind of like a thriller. I mean, every issue, there's 12 issues, and every issue you just want to know, like, who is this guy and what's happening. And then this is actually on issue number 8 of this series, is where you get the first appearance of Spider-Man with the black suit. So that's why this story is very famous in the comic community. Another one of my favorites is Silver Surfer. This series came out in 2014 and ended after, I think it was less than 40 issues, and I was very sad when this series ended. It was so good. I mean, so many people were angry that it ended the way it did because of sales, but it ended beautifully. I gotta say that. Amazing art of this. Beautiful. And then the last one I'm going to show is this series. This is the first Cable series that came out in the 90s with Rob Liefeld art. Cable is one of my favorite comic book characters. I'm not show anything that's kind of not bad, but amazing artwork, amazing character. I was so excited when he was going to come out in Deadpool 2. I really still want that poster. Okay, so let's move on to question 2. You asked for show 2 soul or funk albums. So I'm going to show Sly, greatest hits. Has all their hits on here. Amazing artist who started off in playing at the church as well, and then got caught up in drugs, and the band broke up, but he's still performing. Amazing music on this album. I remember hearing I think his songs were used for car commercials, if I remember correctly. Next, I'm going to show a couple of gospel soul funk albums. The first one is Andre the Crouch and the Disciples. Marvelous album right here. Beautiful. And then this is the new one that I was just blown away. Ben Moore's Purified. Amazing album. I put a little, I think I put snippets of this on Instagram if you guys are interested. So those are the 3 that I have. We showed show 2, and I'm gonna kind of share with you guys 2 kind of funky comics, and the ones that I have to show for that are this comic here, The Impossible Man. This guy is impossible, man. I really dislike this guy. I mean, the only reason I got this because it was so cheap, but The Impossible Man, this guy comes out and came out in various issues, and he just gave the characters a very hard time. It just kind of makes you hate him every time he comes out, because it kind of messes up everything. And another one I have is this is Space Usagi, but anything by Usagi, I think Usagi is the correct, by Stan Sakai. It's just funky and funny and great adventure stories. This guy, I believe he's Japanese, and I just really enjoy all his stories about being a warrior and a samurai rabbit. So really love his stuff. When I was a child, I used to do this comics also who were rabbits, and I had never read his stuff when I was young, so I wonder where I got the idea from, or you know, that imagination, where it came from. But I was always marveled by Usagi's stuff. Next, you asked for show an album everyone should own. This one's a little bit was a little bit tricky for me. I believe Mazzy asked that question as well in his contest in the summer. So I went this time with a different record, and it's basically gonna be classical music. I believe classical is music is universal. Everyone can enjoy it, everyone can relate to it, everyone can connect to it emotionally, and it has a pretty beautiful structure that is everywhere in music. And even in music, all the structures and themes and parts that we got from music is from classical music. So I'm gonna go with New World Symphony by the Dvorak. This is my wife's favorite composition from classical music. It is such a beautiful composed song, composed symphony. This is the Dvorak Symphony number 5, E minor, I believe. So New World Symphony. It doesn't have to be this record, but any let's say orchestra playing this, everyone should own that record, I believe. It's a beautiful song. So New World Symphony is what I'm gonna go with in this question. Now for comics, what comic would I say everyone should own? I'm gonna go with Calvin and Hobbes. I mean, Calvin and Hobbes is just beautiful stories, funny, short and quick nugget stories that everyone can enjoy. Look at this. It's basically two main characters, Calvin and Hobbes, and they have such amazing adventures. If you have kids, you definitely should own this, and not have them go on without reading Calvin and Hobbes. There's a beautiful documentary that I saw, maybe it was this year or last year, about Calvin and Hobbes. It's such a historically documented comic that ended, but that touched so many lives. So I'm gonna go with Calvin and Hobbes for that question. Next, you said show your favorite live album. I'm gonna go with one of my favorite genres, and that's punk. And this is live from the Roxy, Social Distortion. This was another album that was on repeat in my car. This came out in 1998, so early 2000s. I was definitely bumping this in my car. I'm gonna go with Social Distortion. Everything's great about this record. Not only did they record this in the city where I live, every song on here is great. Story of My Life starts off the album, which is one of the best songs ever written, and most easy songs to play, the key of D, just 3 chords, and ends with the Johnny Cash cover, Ring of Fire, which is such an amazing song. So I'm gonna go with this one. Great album that I'm gonna recommend. And the last question you asked was, show an album or a song that you used to hate but learned to like or love. And for that, I'm gonna go back to this album here, because even though I really enjoyed the album, when I first started listening to this album, I did not like the song Money. And Money was probably the biggest single off this record, probably one of their most famous songs ever. and I really rebelled against that song, and not liking it. I don't know what it was about it. I'm not sure if it was because it was too played out, too much on the radio, too famous to enjoy it. But I really had a hard time liking that song. And when I had the record on CD, I would always skip Money. I would enjoy everything else, but I would skip Money. It wasn't until I finally really started listening to records with a really close ear. Also when I started learning a little bit more how to play the bass, that I really enjoyed, and found out that it was just such a remarkable composed songs with the little bass riff at the beginning of the song, that boom 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 boom, like it's just, yeah, it was just it was kind of like one of those moments where you turn on the lights in the dark, and you just see things through a new lens, a new perspective. That's kind of like what happened with that song with me. So I'm going to use that one for this question, because that's just how I felt about that. Great record. And I'm going to go with another question about comics, and a person that I really had a hard time liking and loving was Cyclops from the X-Men. I really had a hard time liking him as a character. Probably my second exposure to X-Men was the animated series on TV when I was young, maybe when I was in elementary school. I always had a hard time liking him as a character. Bossy, and calling all the shots all the time. It wasn't until I really dug into the actual literature of X-Men comics that like kind of saw all the characters develop and become who they are. And Cyclops was one of those characters who just became a leader through many circumstances. And to be a person who's blind and be a leader and be all those things, not blind, but you know, have that disability, but yet even though it's a disability, in one circumstance, is actually the most powerful weapon that you can have. One of the most powerful weapons in the world. So yeah, Cyclops was a really hard character to like in the beginning, but I have found myself liking him more as time has gone on. I don't love him, but I do like him as a character. There you go, Eve. Hope you enjoyed that. See you on the next one. He's playing the song from Emily.
There we go.
Tierson. Tan Tierson.